Well, hello internets, here we are. We have ourselves a little bit of, a vlog going on here. We are experiencing a bit of a heat wave. We're getting up to temperatures around 35 degrees Celsius, kind of the hottest day of the year. The summer anyways, and then after that it's pretty much over with. And yeah, welcome to our vlog. So, here we go. So yeah, that's right, 35 or so degrees Celsius, which is, kind of around the, hotter side. We may see 40 or 42-ish, but very seldom do we ever see much, if anything, higher than that. And when we do, it's only for, 24 hours or 48 hours at the most. That's one of the joys of being in Canada, right? That is why my cargo trailer didn't, and still doesn't to this day, still need insulation. Because we don't get up to be, super, super hot here. And the ambient temperature is not 40 degrees all the time. It's only like maybe 22, 24 degrees Celsius, which is whatever Fahrenheit. So, insulation is, would come in handy, would help, but it's definitely not a necessity for a cargo trailer here. But more to the point of this here vlog, well, because of the heat wave, I dug out my dad's portable air conditioner. Now, I rolled it from the storage room, which is, across my apartment, to the kitchen floor. Did not tip it, did not carry it. Let her sit for a bit, and then fired her up. And it started to blow cold for a bit, enough to chill off the apartment. And then it quit. It quit blowing cold air, and from being about the ambient 27 degrees Celsius in here to being about 45 to 48 Celsius, because somehow the air conditioner was putting out hotter air than what the apartment was already hot enough. So, and then, I thought maybe I'll just crank it up and see what happens. Well, then it starts to have other issues too, and it kind of brings me to the conclusion that it doesn't pay to store things. My dad bought that air conditioner probably in 2014, 2015. Somewhere around there. I think I might have been with him when he bought it. I don't quite remember. That is way too long ago now, and a lot of things have happened since then. And then he passed away, of course, in 2016, and it sat for, the last 4 years without being used. Now, it worked when he had it, because, I know it did because I was there to feel the cold. So sometime in the last 4 years of it being sitting and not being used, something happened to it. Whether something electrical broke, the freon leaked out of it, or however it makes it cold, now it doesn't work. I would have been better off to have sold that air conditioner years ago for $60 and been further ahead than storing it with the misguided idea of sticking it in the cargo trailer or using it someday in an apartment when I moved to an apartment that didn't have an air conditioner, kind of like how I am now when I've lasted 2 years without using it until this year. The same thing happened with Dad's TV. He used it from, 2014? Or so, maybe even earlier, slightly earlier. I don't remember if he had it when I broke my hand or if that was after I broke my hand. And up until, again, passed away 2016, and then it sat for a bit. And then I moved into this place in 2018, and I used it for maybe 6 months and it quit. You know, once again, if I would have used it at my house, I would have had, you know, maybe 6 months of use out of it, or possibility 2 years of use out of it. Or if I would have sold it, then I would have had the money. But instead, I stored it, and then, I don't know, it broke there in storage. It quit working, like something happened afterwards. I've had the same thing happen with bicycle tires. You know, you put new tires on a bike, don't ride the bike for a couple of years, go back out and the tires are weather checked, and the bike was locked inside a shed. I had another bicycle that had brand new cables and stuff done by another shop in town. Not the bicycle shop that I featured in some of my videos, another one that is downtown. And the bicycle hung on a hook in the shed, and I don't know if it was the humidity of the air, outside air of the shed, you know, but the cables all rusted, and it had never seen a drop of rain directly on the bicycle. Where other cables done by other bicycle shops or factory bicycle cables, they don't rust like that. Where those cables they must have been cheap Chinese cables or cheap discount cables, so therefore they rusted because they weren't galvanized or coated by something, you know. And I've had it happen with bicycle pumps and tools and other things where they just don't work after being stored. And you know, you take a nice vehicle and you only drive it once a month or once every 6 months, and then it starts to fall apart. My mom and dad back 20 years ago now bought a 80 Pontiac Parisienne, big car, especially by today's standards. It was a boat. By 1970 standards, it was actually small. Or medium size, I guess. But it was an 80 Pontiac. It had 17,000 documented kilometers, and one family owned, garage kept, and we paid a good price for this car considering what it was and how old it was. We paid a good price of it, probably half the price of a time of a equal-ish Cavalier or Sunfire that was on the lot in about 98 brand new. So it was a good price because they were a good car. Well, shortly after buying it, the tires had to be changed, and shortly after buying it, the exhaust fell apart because of rust. Shortly after buying it, the belts and the shocks and the little shocks on the trunk lid, and I forget what else, anything that was rubber or plastic needed to be replaced just from sitting for whatever it would have been, the 15-20 years that it sat. And it was like, you think to yourself, beautiful car for the time it was made. Beautiful car as a cruiser car if you have the disposable income, but really to keep something thinking it's going to be worth something someday, or thinking it's going to be come in value someday or come in use someday when you need it, sometimes that never happens. Sometimes it takes years for that someday to happen, and by then the said item has rotted away or weathered or broken, because things just deteriorate for really no apparent reason other than oxygen or sunlight or 5G waves or whatever, right? And I've ran into that multiple times before. So I've been thinking about going down and buying another portable air conditioner because of the heat, and this apartment does not have an air conditioner in it at all, period. Never did and probably never will, because that requires too much money to install and wire in a proper air conditioner. So I think I'm going to go buy one because, well, I'm not planning anything major for the immediate future, and for the next year or two that I'm here or so, you never know, right? Years go by fast. I could use said air conditioner rather than sitting here and not using one and doing without, like I did for the first 2 years that I've been here. And so I'll probably do that here, check the flyers, see what's on sale. I think I have an accumulation of Canadian Tire money somewhere if I can find it, and go cash that in and, you know, get a $200 credit on a nice air conditioner and go from there. There are things we deny ourselves in life, personal pleasures, because we can do without them, whether it's air conditioner or whether it's running your shoes a bit longer than, you know, you would normally run them, just because you can. You know, you can run another few months, or, you know, next year I'll put winter tires on a vehicle, or instead of running the summer ones. And then sometimes you get by with not having to put winter tires on it, and sometimes you have an accident and you should have put the winter tires on. It just happens, right? It's all part of life, all part of decision making. Future's unknown. Things can change, things can happen, as we've found out with recent events. Who would have thought here in North America that last year this time, that this year we'd be facing what we're facing, or have faced what we face, depends on what's still going on when this here vlog goes live, whenever you see this in a few months. You know, things could be on the way back to normal, or things could, by now, by the time you see this, have gotten a lot worse. Who knows what really's going on out there. So yeah, I've come to the conclusion that if you're not using it, you know, and or have an immediate use or an extremely close future use, to store something is just you know, counterproductive sometimes. You know, and plastic containers or tower containers, or, you know, even selling my big filing cabinet I have behind me back from the old, you know, business type days that I kept hanging on to because, well, it's a good expensive cabinet. Since my move 2 years ago, I've never actually filled it back up. It's actually sat empty all this time. Granted, part of that has to do with the fact that my paperwork load has decreased significantly, and part of that has to do with the chaotic nature of my life, where I just haven't had time to do my normal yearly monthly maintenance and my normal yearly bookkeeping and filing like I used to do every year up until my life changed around the time I broke my hand, right? And it is what it is. Life is unknown. You know, it's one day at a time, day by day, and we face the new day because it'll be here regardless of whether we're ready for it or not. But pretty much, guys, this here is another vlog for another day. It is what it is. Hopefully we get some rain soon and she cools on down. Eventually it'll be winter time, and then we can complain about the minus 50 Celsius cold rather than the hot. But another day in the life. It is what it is. As always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.